Let's create a binomial probability distribution and find the mean of that distribution. Suppose that 20% of Americans are vegetarian. You randomly select 5 people and ask them if they're vegetarian. Our random variable x will be the number of people who are vegetarian. So we can create the probability distribution. This will be discrete. It will either be that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or all 5 people that we asked in the sample were vegetarian. This follows the binomial distribution, so now we need to calculate the probabilities that x is equal to 0. That is, none of the people that we asked were vegetarian. So we can select this box. We'll use the formula equals, it follows the binomial, so B-I-N-O-M, there's the binomial distribution. Now, I want to be able to have Excel calculate this for us quite easily, so the number that I'm looking for, I'm going to select over here. It's in the B10 cell. Then we'll come over to the number of trials. Well, there are 5 people in the sample. The probability of success is 20% or 0.2. And now we want to know, will this be cumulative? Well, we're looking for the probability that there's exactly 0 people that are vegetarian. So this is not cumulative. So we'll type false and then click OK. And you can see there that Excel calculated the probability that 0 of the people that we talked to were vegetarian. It's about 33%. Okay, so now I want Excel to fill this in for us. Now remember, if you're on your computer, you can just simply drag this down. If you're working on your tablet, you'll select the cell. You have to tell it that you want it to fill before you drag down. Now if you look at the formulas, you can see that instead of taking the B10 cell, it took B11 when x was 1. And here, the B12 cell when x was 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Now, we can always check and make sure that this worked for us. So we can click Sum, open the parentheses. We want the sum. I'm not going to type all those numbers. I will highlight the range, close the parentheses, and click OK. And the sum is 1, which means 100% of the probability is there. So that's the first of part of the homework. So we've just created the binomial distribution. Now we want to find the mean of that distribution. So remember that if you find the mean, you take the sum of all of the values of the random variable times their probability. So in this case, I've created a multiply column here, and I will let Excel do the calculations for me. So here we have equals. I want to take the random variable, which the value of the random variable, which is our first one, and then multiply. You want to use the star by its probability, and click OK. So 0 times anything is 0. Great. Now, again, you will fill these. If you're on the computer, you can just drag down. If you're on your tablet, tell it you want to fill and come down here. Okay, and there it did it. It calculated all of these values of the random variable times their probabilities. Now, let's find the sum, okay, because that will be the mean. So we'll click Sum. And we have to open our parentheses, tell it which range you want it to sum, close the parentheses, and click OK. Now, there's another way for us to do this. Remember that in the binomial distribution, the sum is equal to, and I'm just going to type these values in here, Excel won't know, but n times p. Okay? So let's just calculate it. What do we have in our sample? The number is 5, and we want to multiply that by the probability of success, which is 0.2. and click enter. So in this case, what we can expect on average, that if we had a group of 5 people and asked them if they were vegetarian, either by taking the sum of the probabilities or by using the formula, we will see that we can expect that 1 person in those 5 is a vegetarian.